everyone, welcome back to the Captain Logan Show. I am Captain Logan, and joining me this evening is my wonderful chat moderator and producer, as always, DJ of the Martinezes.
Hello, Zizzes.
How you doing, man?
I'm stupendous.
Have you been for the 4 hours
Just sublime.
I've not seen you today? Because we were hanging out earlier.
Yeah, we shot a little more for Mania.
How's the last 4 hours been?
It's been tough. It's been rough.
And once again, special guest Dan Torrey.
Hello, everybody.
Although the more shows you show up on in a row will make you just, like, inherently less special.
Oh, I'm not essential.
Well, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I can do this show alone. Like, I don't even necessarily have to have DJ, but it's nicer.
Hey, it goes smoother, I will say.
How it goes a lot smoother, yeah, and even then, sometimes the mic doesn't come on. So, welcome everybody. Thanks so much for hanging out with us. We're going to talk to you for the next hour about whatever you guys want to chat about. Leave us questions, and we will get to as many as humanly possible. And you can ask us anything. Just look at the words right underneath my face. It says so right there. Ask us anything within reason. I should, in parentheses, say within reason. We will chat about pop culture stuff. We will chat about channel things. We will chat about sci-fi, superheroes. Whatever you guys want to talk about is what we will do this evening. No special theme or anything, except for the theme of Dan is back. We do have that theme.
Heck.
This time he showed up at the very beginning of the show. We didn't even have to invite him midstream. That was so much fun last week. He was like, hey, Dan, you want to jump in? And he was like, yeah. And then it became...
Yeah, he just ran in like a Price is Right contestant through the show.
And that was really cool of you, too, because it mixed up the second hour a little bit. It was nice having a second hour, we could have posted that in 2 parts if we'd wanted to. Anyway, seeing some Super Chats already. If you want to make sure, as always, that your question is, or your comment is answered on air, you can leave us a Super Chat, and that little donation helps us out a lot, keeping the show going here on Geekvolution. Don't feel like you have to do that, of course. We'll get to as many pre-written things as humanly possible, but if you do that, or ever have done that, we really, really, really appreciate it. Thanks so very much. So, let's go ahead and jump right into the show. I don't have any special house cleaning things right now. There is something, Dan or DJ,
yes.
would one of you guys try to remind me a little? I want to go ahead and jump right into questions, but if I forget before the end of the show, I do have a little announcement I need to make, but I don't want to do it right now, because I don't want to bring everybody down and make people sad. I want to talk about it later. So, there is a thing I need to...
What a tease.
There is a thing I need to bring up, because I keep forgetting to tell people about it, and it needs to be mentioned, but I don't want to make anybody... It's not a big deal, but some people will think it's a big deal. So anyway, we'll talk about it later, but help me remember, I have a thing I gotta say. Okay, let's go ahead and just jump straight into questions. You guys can obviously ask us separate things if you want to, or ask us stuff for all of us to answer. It is the Captain Logan Show, but we will pretend that Dan's name is much smaller underneath mine in the title this evening. Go ahead and start asking us some questions, guys.
All right, we got first one I saw from Blue Dragon 5. Cap, reaction to the disheartening Diamond distributor news.
Are you talking about... I'm going to pretend like that was my reaction. Are you talking about just the fact that they're not shipping comics? Is that what it's like? Because I had heard that, but that's all I know about. Dan, do you know any more than that?
Yeah, so I guess Diamond is just not shipping any new comic books to direct distributors, and I don't believe they're accepting like buybacks or refunds or anything. So a bunch of creators on Twitter have said like, hey, comic book stores that will probably go out of business because of coronavirus, like, we'll buy your comics back, the comics that I wrote or drew back.
Oh,
so
that's
insane. Help you out a little bit.
Wow. Yeah. It's obnoxious they have to do that. I understand they're not shipping books if the stores are closed. I get that. Not accepting returns is ridiculous.
As far as I know, that's what it seems to be, because a lot of the creators are... They're trying to like do that, and another one of the other measures they're trying to take to like save the industry is to do a Marvel DC crossover to try to generate enough interest so people will buy comics again. But I don't know how they're going to do that if they're not being received at the stores. So I don't know what's going on.
Man, yeah,
a lot of industries are in free fall right now, and I'm
yes.
not surprised at the comic book industry. It's being such a niche medium that has been in free fall in sales even before the coronavirus happened. I'm not surprised they're really struggling, and I feel for all those people.
I would have comics at the top of my list of industries I would think this whole thing, no matter how long it lasts, could end up destroying, or not destroying, but hurting really bad. And I mean the physical retail side. I doubt if any major actual comic company goes out of business. I could see it, really tanking some of the smaller ones. Or like, if you're kind of, living paycheck to paycheck, where you're a small comic company and you're barely making enough to pay your writers and artists and keep things going. If this goes very long, it could be really hard to stay afloat and keep things going afterwards. But it could spell death for a lot of comic shops, and that's terrible, obviously. It's really sad. We've been talking a lot on this show the last couple of weeks since all this began about trends that might change and things people might find themselves doing differently after all of this, if this becomes the new normal for very long. And this could help change the trend to more of a digital model. If it lasts very long, I could see that being more on the tag. I could see day and date finally starting to happen, especially if a lot of comic stores go under. Now Diamond wouldn't have the incentive they used to not do that. If they're making more money on the digital side, I could see that happening finally. It's kind of scary.
Well, and Diamond's notoriously terrible. Like,
yes.
Every comic shop that I've ever talked to hates Diamond because they don't fulfill orders correctly. Things come in damaged. It's a whole nightmare. So, not that I want those people to lose their jobs, but the one silver lining coming out of this might be that the comic book industry kind of moves into the 21st century as far as distribution. I guess we'll have to see.
Yeah, I agree. I had some apologists in the documentary for Diamond. The trend seemed to be comic store owners that were doing really well tended to be more apologetic to Diamond than stores that were just doing okay. So we had a couple of much more massive stores that were like, Diamond's great to us, and very often that seems to be because they make them a lot of money, so they prioritize them. So of course they have a better relationship with them, and they clearly play favorites. That's definitely a big problem. But even those stores would get damaged books, Dan, and missing books, and I've not talked to any owner that has ever had a week where something didn't show up on that just didn't get there. I get occasional mistakes. It's like they're intentionally shorting people. It's really hard to believe that they're just that disorganized. It's weird. But that's neither here nor there. It sucks that they're not taking buybacks. That's a big mistake. And doesn't that massively hurt their bottom line?
I don't know that 100% for sure. I just know that creators are offering to buy the books back.
But I have heard that as well. Eric and I had that conversation last night, and he said the same thing. He said he had read that. So
okay.
If that is indeed, I'm not just getting this from you. If that is indeed what is going on, that's really sucky, and I don't understand why they would do that. Because I would think that they would have, obviously, an incentive to keep the comic shops open.
Well, I mean, it's probably a tough situation for them because, if they don't have any income coming in, how would they even afford to do that?
Well, that's true, too.
Offer all those refunds. I mean, who knows? I don't know. It's a tough situation. I feel for all the people in the comic book industry right now. It's real tough.
DJ, let's get another one.
All right. Well, we got tons of super chats while you guys are talking. So I'm going to go to the first one of those is just from Mr. Ool. Brian Ool.
Hi, Brian Ool.
He just says,
hi.
I don't know why DJ's making fun of your name right now, but how you doing, buddy?
I am emphasizing his name. It's a cool name.
Oh.
His name he just says, "Hey guys." That's all he says. So thanks for the $2.
So that one's complicated and it's going to take us a little while.
It depends.
It depends. Hey, you guys want to see this insane shirt I'm wearing? I bought this a year ago. Thanks, Dan. I bought this a year ago, and I have never put it on. And I was looking through my closet trying to decide what I was going to wear for the show, and I was like, oh, this goes perfectly with the silly Jurassic House video I posted today. Look at this crazy shirt. Look at these dinosaurs. This
It looks like Carnage in the next Venom.
Yeah, I got this T-Rex that's got like sunglasses. Yeah, it's a really silly shirt. It's just awesome. Ridiculous. I found that when I was in Arkansas last year. I said, I'm buying that.
All right.
You can't see it when I'm just sitting down. It's like there's one up on my shoulder back here. Anyway.
John Ty gives us a $2 super chat.
Thanks,
He says,
man.
"Are you going to do more comic book rewinds?"
Yes, absolutely I am. I have a couple that are on the short list that I'm planning to do this year if I can get to them. There's at least 2 that have been requested. And I've got one that I'm kind of kicking around, maybe front-loading and doing pretty soon. Because, and some of you guys might be able to guess what the topic is after I say this, but because of the coronavirus, I got pushed back this week because I was fighting copyright with the Jurassic House video with YouTube. That video was all footage, and I knew I was taking a risk, but I thought I'd cracked the code with it, with the bots. I thought if all the clips were 10 seconds or less, I was good, and it turns out that's even not true. So I ended up having to... I was up an extra 4 hours last night. I had to make most of the footage into stills. It was awful. I hope the video looks okay. But at least I was able to still keep in the short clips with dialogue that I really needed to make that whole thing work. I edited together a 1950s PSA that I was happy I was able to keep in and didn't have to cut out. I'm really proud of that PSA, so take a look at it just for that. I think it's really funny. So I'm glad I was able to keep that in there. But anyway, there is a rewind, a comic rewind I really want to do for next week if I can get rolling on it, but I don't know if I can promise Tuesday like I'm usually posting because it's now Thursday. I've been wrestling with this Jurassic House video, and I haven't had time to start on a new one yet. So I started reading for that, but I don't know if it's gonna happen. So it may be there may be a week between rewinds. So anyway,
cool. Next one is from the Vacuuminator.
Vacuuminator. When was the last time we saw Vac? It's good to see you, man. Thanks for being in here, man.
There's actually 2 before that, but I'm going to read this one first, so I didn't forget your questions. Don't worry.
Wow,
Good evening, everyone. If you were granted omnipotence for 1 minute, oh gosh, and you could use that minute to change anything about the universe, what would it be?
I'm immediately reminded of the Omega 13. Like, if you can go back in time 13 seconds, what would you do? Yeah, if you had omnipotence for just 1 minute, like the Infinity Gauntlet drops on your hand, and then, like a claw machine, drops it down on your hand, holds it there for 1 minute, 60 seconds, pulls it back off your hand. What would you do? If you had omniscience with the omnipotence, then you would know that hand or that gauntlet would be on your hand for 60 seconds, and then with that omnipotence, you could increase the time that you had it. You could do that. And
so this is the genie wish for more.
You're the guy who wishes for more wishes.
I just thought that, but no. Forgetting that, if you could only have it 1 minute, what would you do? I gotta think about that a little bit.
Playing Would You Rather with Kat must be a joy.
Oh no, I'm obnoxious. Dan, do you have a good response right away?
Yes, I would get rid of the coronavirus.
Yes.
Yeah,
just
of course.
No,
right now that's what. And then like you look into a microscope and you can see like the cells of the coronavirus disappearing, like disintegrating, like the Thanos
one of those
thing.
X-Men movie intros where it's like
yeah.
All the particles are coming off the DNA.
Yeah, I mean, right now, that's the definitive answer. I don't know, like 3 weeks ago, I'm not sure what I would have said, but right now, that's what you gotta say. DJ, do you have, like, let's forget the coronavirus. Let's pretend it is 3 weeks ago. What would you say, DJ?
I have something worse than the coronavirus. I would get rid of the word snuck, because that's the dumbest word in all of history, and I hate it when people use snuck instead of sneaked. It's sneaked. Past participle. Don't say snuck. It's not squeaked. It's not leaked. I mean, it's squeaked. It's leaked. It's not luck. It's not squawk. It's not puck.
That's your priority.
Peaked. That's it. Squeak.
World hunger, child deaths, homelessness. No, friggin', I hate that word, and it's gotta die.
snuck out of here. Don't get me started on drugs.
Well, if I
I'll go off on a
can,
whole tangent on that.
if I can go with something as superfluous or it matters to me and not to everyone, if I can pull a DJ, then what I'll say is, I would make everybody appreciative of the comics medium. Like, I would, or at the very least, I would make it so that, I know this messes with free will, but I would make it so that somehow movies are not considered more legitimate than every other medium. Like, every medium would get a fair shake in my perfect world. Nobody would refuse to look at a thing just because it's in a medium that they don't initially care for. Like, people would get up in the morning and read comics because they like the story, and they wouldn't care that it's a comic book as opposed to a movie.
Well, there you go.
But I would think of, I'm sure I could think of more important things than that. Noah O says that you snuck in that one. My wife says a thing. She doesn't say it as much anymore because she knows it drives me crazy. I'm going to throw her under the bus for a minute. She grew up. So I don't know where her family got this. I mean, she used to say it, and I would cringe like this. I just couldn't even deal with it. Sarah grew up saying, instead of ain't or are not, amn't. I can't even have that.
I've never heard of that before.
I had never heard that either, and she used to argue with me. She was like, no, it's just colloquial. I was like, I guarantee you, there's nobody outside of your family that says that. Like, this is not a St. Louis thing.
It's am not?
Yeah, she'd say amn't. Like she made up a contraction, or someone in her family did, because her sisters say it too. And I don't know if her mom said it. I'm not sure where they got it. When we first started dating, she'd be like, amn't I? And I would just look at her and I was like, Sarah, I'm the one from the South with the goofy colloquialisms. You can't do that. That's weird. And she's like, no, that's a word. She's like, if ain't is not a word, but people say it, I can say that. And I'm like, no, it doesn't work like that. That's a colloquialism.
So she would say like, I am it going to the store?
Yeah. I can't hear it without.
He's got PTSD.
Huh, interesting.
Does that not just drive you guys insane?
Yeah.
Amn't.
It's like
I'm used to it at this point.
More than just like I've just appalled. I've never heard that before. You know,
it's because they made it up. I don't think anybody else ever said that. If anybody in the comments has ever said that, you've got to tell me. It's like could of. I just can't have it. It's could of. It's a contraction. Amn't.
It makes him turn into a cartoon duck.
A lot of things do that for capitals.
Anyway. Good
All
God.
Right. So we got a super chat from T-Edge1. He says, Amazon rolled out Prime Cinema really quickly. Yeah. Is it possible, how likely is it that they were just waiting for a chance to roll it out? Stay safe.
Wait, hold on.
Conspiracy theory.
Is Bezos taking over movie theaters now too? Is that what's happening?
No, they're releasing movies on Prime that are in theaters. So I think
or that we're supposed to be.
Invisible Man got it, and what else? Like there's like 4 of them on there right now.
Yeah, Invisible Man got it, and so did
reading a bunch of articles about this, and the head of some organization that represents the people that own movie theaters, like the big companies and everything. He said that if the U.S. government didn't help the movie theaters, they were going to go bankrupt. And then they were saying that there was this troll movie that got released day and date. It was supposed to be like in the theaters and on digital at the same time. And they said, we will never forget this. Like they're the mafia or something. It's just like
for some silly DreamWorks Trolls movie. It's not even DreamWorks. It's like a lower tier.
So like, it kind of feels to me like this may be death knell for movie theaters, like eventually too, which is crazy.
It's insane to imagine that. And I mean, if this only lasted a couple weeks, that wouldn't happen. They'd open and they'd lick their wounds and move forward. And it may have. We talked about this last week. It would probably have an impact. I still think that it's going to have people thinking maybe a little bit differently about how they want to consume their entertainment, and people could just get used to the idea of not having to deal with theaters, because it's got to look more antiquated to younger people than it does to us, where it's like, well, we go to the theater, like, it's a cool experience and whatever, but we go to the theater because we want to see the thing right when it comes out, and we're not used to delayed gratification. So if we have to get in our car to go see a thing right away, we're going to, but we'd rather it just show up on our phones right away. And like, so I think this is going to have an impact with that, even if it were to, turn around tomorrow. It's not going to. The coronavirus, as far as I understand, is now, there are cases now in every country in the world. I read that yesterday. So anyway, but
the U.S. just became the number one country in the world for confirmed cases too.
Great, yeah. Well, I don't want to get political.
We passed China, guys. How in the world did we do that?
But like,
if I may say, we didn't handle that right.
The Chinese are definitely lying about that. They have. Like, I don't believe it.
They outnumber us.
But anyway, so yeah, I don't think we're going to come out of the coronavirus and we're magically, there's no more movie theaters and they're all gone and we're never going to have movie theaters again. But it could be a major trend change, and you could see chains end up, dying over it, which would be nuts. But yeah, another movie that came out real quick was Onward, and it's really interesting how Disney is playing this, because, so they have the video on demand thing. Bloodshot came out that way also, which I was going to go see and review, and I got a message today from Connor, and he was like, look, if you want to, we can pay the $20 and watch that. I was like, no, it's ridiculous how much they're charging for. I get that these are movies that just came out and are supposed to be in the movie theater, but I would rather wait than drop the only way it even remotely makes sense to drop $20 to watch a thing just because it came out is if more than one person is watching it with you and you don't have to pay for all those tickets. If you're watching it by yourself, that's ridiculous. You're paying at least twice what you would to go to the theater and have the theater experience to sit and watch it on your smaller television. So,
jeez,
so
tickets must be cheap where you live, because that's nowhere near twice what it is. Tickets here are like $15. I don't know.
Yeah, oh, really?
For me too.
We pay
like
10 to 11 here.
Okay. But yeah, I mean, it doesn't make sense for them. I understand how they're coming from, because it doesn't make sense for them to sell a movie ticket that like 10 people could go over to the house and watch for only $20. They're losing so much money if they do that. So, or for only like $10. So they have to upcharge it a little bit to try to balance that out.
Well, I understand that. I get why they have to do that, but I would rather wait. Like, I'm not going to pay that.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it either. I'm patient. I can wait. There's tons of stuff on my watch list.
But it's interesting how Disney's handling Onward, because right now you have to pay $20, but they're actually going to put it on Disney Plus in 2 weeks, 3 months before they were going to.
Yeah, which is weird. Who can't wait 2 weeks? Who's going to drop $20? That's crazy. I guess people who aren't on Disney Plus. I don't know.
That $20, is that like you pay for it, and then is it like usually when you buy a movie on Amazon, it's like $20 and you can watch it as many times as you want, or is it like a rental for $20?
Both. Some movies,
some of them,
it's a rental.
I think Onward you can buy, but the other ones like Invisible Man was 20, or Emma. I looked at Emma. Emma was $20 to rent for like 48 hours.
And $20 is ridiculous. Yeah, it is. $20 is the lowest price point I have seen. And it's for either of those things. I'm not seeing any rentals for anything that just came out like that any cheaper than that, but sometimes it's $20 to own it also.
Yeah, because I was curious, because Rise of Skywalker got released early on video on demand services, and it's $20 to buy, and I was like, there is no way I'm paying $20 for that movie.
But I wouldn't pay it even if I liked it and it was good, unless with something like Star Wars, if it came out that way in the first place and didn't go to theaters, that wouldn't happen with a movie like that. It's too expensive. But if that were to happen, that would be one of the few things I would maybe feel the need to see right away. Partly just to talk about on the channel, I guess, but like, it's not good. So,
yeah. Well, I mean, there was talk that we're talking about Amazon. There was talk that Wonder Woman, who is an Amazon, would get dropped early. But then they just announced that it's coming out August 14th. I don't know why they announced another date. Why would you not just keep it indefinite? Because you have no idea hopefully this is cleared up by August and theaters are back open, but what if the theaters aren't open in August?
Don't announce a date that early, especially. And I talked about this last week, but I'm still seeing events that are well out that are going, nobody worry, we have no intention of canceling.
Don't.
Yeah, it's not going to be up to you, though. Like, who cares what your intentions are? Of course you want to still have your event and make your money. If the government shuts you down, there's nothing you can do about it. Don't say that. I think it's very silly.
Weird times. Weird times. All right, the next one's for Dan.
Oh.
It's a real thinker. He says, Dan, is there free will in Star Wars?
Well, sir, that's a very interesting question because there have been a bunch of stories in Star Wars Expanded Universe stuff that have talked about this concept. One of my favorite Star Wars stories is the story for the video game of Knights of the Old Republic 2. And the villain in that game, Kreia, her whole thing is that she wants to kill the Force itself because she believes that the Force has a will and controls people and perpetually has the galaxy in a state of conflict and leads to the deaths of hundreds of millions of people. So your mission in the game is to stop her plan, but like she has a really interesting point, and that game is all about those sorts of concepts. So if that's a question that's interesting to you, I would recommend that game. It's awesome.
Look at that. This guy's concise. He goes into depth with the questions. We need to keep this guy around.
Thank you.
You know what? If you want this show, you can have the damn thing.
All right, I'll make a note. I'm working on the Dan Torrey Show logo right now, right after the show. All right.
You know what? I'll tell you where you can stick your brevity, Dan. No, I'm terrible at that. What I do when I answer a question, am I saying this will probably be just like that? When I'm answering a question, I talk long enough to figure out what I want to say. That's
filibustering. Filibuster.
It's how my brain works, man. Like, I don't think as well if my mouth's not flapping. It's true. It's how my brain works. So people think I talk too much. Yeah, it's because if I'm not talking, it's harder to come up with things. It's how I work. Like, I think better with a keyboard under my fingers. And if I don't have that, I gotta be talking.
No, people love to hear you talk. That's why they tune in each week.
Well, thanks, man. I'm all self-conscious because Dan gave a really good, concise answer. Immediately, he had an example of a thing that would answer. He didn't have to get all philosophical or nothing. Like, that's what I would have been. Oh, well, this, but then, and this, and but if this. And then Dan's just like, Star Wars has acknowledged this as a potential issue. Let's move on.
Well, I don't want to spoil anything for people that haven't played that game too. It's kind of a spoiler that Kreia is the villain because you're not really. She's like your master in the game and one of your companions, and like travels through you throughout the journey. So like she's the person training you and the villain of the game.
That's interesting.
Yeah, she's awesome. She's one of my favorite characters in Star Wars. So I don't want to spoil any of the implications of what she has to say about the Force in that game if you guys haven't played it. It's available on Steam. For probably like $5, so go check it out.
What is that again? Which one is that?
Knights of the Old Republic 2.
I missed whether you said the first or the second one. I don't think... So the first one is on iPads, which is really cool. I started it that way, and it's a pretty decent interface. I don't know if the second one's that way on devices, but it's really neat they did that.
It may not be, and the cool thing about the Steam version is they did like a Steam workshop, and the community, like the Steam workshop basically like lets the community mod the game, and the fans went in and took a bunch of the voice dialogues that was in the code of the game because they had to rush that game out because for like a release deadline, and they put all of the content that was cut out from the game back in. They reanimated everything. It's seamless and it's awesome.
Wow, so that's cool.
It's really cool. Yeah.
I want to answer this because I like fighting with Dan. Mutale wants to know who is more eloquent with words between me or Dan. Yeah,
this is a loaded question.
That's interesting because one's a lawyer, one's a writer. So
yeah,
what do I get? I guess it's interesting.
I think
they're both more eloquent than the designer.
I am a writer. I just write about boring stuff.
I think to have any shot at being any more eloquent than Dan, I want to think that we're kind of on par. Just spoken, I want to say if I have any chance at beating Dan in eloquence, I have to be writing. It can't be off the cuff. I'm going to have to, like, work at it. And I'm not saying my writing's better than your writing, Dan, because I don't know, because I've not read your writing. But I'm just saying if I have any shot, I'm going to have to be writing. It's the only chance I have.
I'm going to say Captain Logan, because I'm going to be gracious.
Look at that. Humble, too. All right, I'm not going to give you any more compliments, Dan, so as not to upset our host. I'll move on. 5590 ERS says, Cap,
what? I mean, hi.
Did you just do the Ross thing to me? Have you thought about doing another 24-hour live stream sometime in the future?
Yeah, I loved that. It was so much fun. I definitely want to do that at some point. I want to make sure and have enough space in between. Although, man, there is a part of me that wishes that somehow I could have known this whole craziness was going to happen and wait on it. Because the best time to do a 24-hour stream is when everyone's at home. But, so I don't have plans to do one in the real close future just because, you know, it takes a lot out of you, and I've got other things I gotta do, and I've got that announcement I gotta make later that will affect April. But I
continues to tease.
But I'm not. I just didn't want to mention it right away. I do want to do something. I don't know what yet. The superhero TV thing was really cool because people gave us really good suggestions and episodes of things I hadn't seen and a bunch of shows that I hadn't seen in a long time, and it was just wonderful. And we had like 11 different co-hosts that all came in. Dan, I don't know if I told you about this. I was not alone. Like from 10 in the morning until like 3:30. a.m. the next day I had co-hosts just all the way through. I do
remember seeing the schedule. I couldn't make it to any of the time slots. I had tried to at the time, but I remember you seeing that it had scheduled out, so it all worked out good.
Yeah, everybody made it.
That's awesome.
That was not me giving you crap for not being there. Like, I totally understand.
No, I know.
It. I was so It was so cool and heartwarming that like so many of my friends were able to pop in and hang out with us and do that. It was great. And like, you know, I wish I'd had somebody at 3:30 in the morning because that was the hardest time because I was so tired. But it's 3:30 in the morning. But yeah, so I was only alone for maybe 3 hours because then Jason came in at like 7 or 8 in the morning and helped me go out the rest of it. And anyway, no, it was a lot of fun, and I did not feel tired at the end of it. I did in the middle of the night. I did when I was doing Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but then you know, the last couple hours, I was in good shape. And then I went to sleep. But yeah.
Did you have to drink a lot of caffeine to not feel tired after that?
I didn't have one drop.
Wow.
No, I say that. I had some tea, so I had a little caffeine. It wasn't super caffeinated.
I mean, it depends on what brew you have. Like a cup of like black Earl Grey tea is like half the caffeine that's in a cup of coffee.
Yeah. So anyway, if people have cool ideas for what to do for another stream, I'm all ears. I might do something video game related, although I don't know how much interest there'll be in that, because A, we don't have as big of a video game audience as we do for other stuff, and B, Cap can't play most things. So I don't know what exactly that would be if I did that, but that's a thought I had. Maybe a bunch of old school platformers. That's my favorite thing to do is platforming. So I could do something like that. We could do like we do like a Mario marathon or something, or you know, maybe Sonic and Mario. Maybe do like Mario and Sonic at the Geekvolution games. Maybe that's what I would call it. But you know, something like that. But I don't know. Or some kind of movie marathon for things that we haven't done marathon for commentaries yet. But yeah.
Or we'll just do a Marvel Mania marathon, knock out a bunch of Marvel Mania episodes.
Another one, yeah. Just a newer stuff. I don't think there's 24 hours of stuff that wasn't in the first one yet. I don't think there's quite that much new, but.
Oh man, Bag Studios. Dan, again, did you hear of the Duel of the Fates script?
Yes, I have. Yeah. That's for those of you who don't know or follow Star Wars fandom closely, I suppose. This is the script that Colin Trevorrow was originally going to have for Episode 9 before that kind of fell apart. I did watch a bunch. I haven't read the script itself because it's my understanding that the details about the script, somebody read it and then they made
it was like Robert Burnett, I think.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it sounds cooler than what Rise of Skywalker is, but like without seeing the movie, I can't say if it would. I mean, it probably would have been better, but I do like at the very least that Kylo Ren is not redeemed in that script because I think the logical progression of his character. He's the only consistently written character in those movies that has a arc and character drama, and that's why I like him. And I think he's a legitimately great character, even in The Last Jedi, which is a movie I don't particularly care for. The arc that they seem to be continuing with past The Last Jedi was like he's Supreme Leader of the First Order. He's doing all of the things that lead down the path to the dark side that Luke refused to do, and he's irredeemable. And that's what I wanted to see. I wanted to see the conclusion of that, and the Duel of Fate script realized that. So that's the one like big positive thing that I took away from all the things I heard about it. So at least that would have been better.
Yeah,
but I don't know.
That was one of those things where like I knew they were gonna do it and I couldn't believe they did it. I was like, what?
No, that so kiss dumb. Was the weirdest thing I've seen in a long time.
So one of the best things about that kiss is in the novelization, they revealed that the kiss was not a kiss of love. It was a kiss of gratitude, because I've always kissed people of the opposite sex out of gratitude before.
Yeah, that's what I do.
Passionately.
That's my go-to.
I thought you were going to say kiss of death. It wasn't a kiss of love. It was a kiss of death.
You know your movie's terrible when you have to like 3 months after the movies come out, like retcon it in other media. It's just like, oh my god.
Yeah, and we shoehorned that in when it was never clearly a romance. Like, I wanted it to be, and there was some sexual tension in Last Jedi that I liked. We just didn't do anything with it. But you can't go from, maybe there's some sexual tension, to, let's have a kiss right before I die. It's so weird.
Yeah, I mean, that movie was bad.
Yeah, we could talk. Let's not take the bait, guys. We could talk about that all night. John Ty, have you watched the DC animated movie Superman / Shazam: The Return of Black Adam?
I mean, it's been forever, so I don't remember anything about that. I remember liking it fine. It was a short film that was, if memory serves, that was on a disc with other DC shorts that they had, kind of like the Pixar shorts DVDs, where they went back to shorts that they had put in other movies or with those discs, and then they put them all in one place. And that was the new one, but it was, I think, longer. I think that's like a 15-20 minute thing, and then the rest of them are shorter than that, if memory serves. But I remember the animation in that being really cool, but I don't remember anything about the story right now.
Cool. We got another one from TH1.
In fact, it might be cool. Sorry, it might be cool to do a rewind at some point where I review that, and I do really quick mini reviews of not just the shorts on that disc, but all the ones they've done afterwards. Because there's probably twice as many now, but I don't think any more than that. They've been doing them more lately. They did a Spectre one on the Wonder Woman Bloodlines, I think is the name of that movie, DVD, and then I can't remember the character, but there's one they just did on the god-awful, because it just is, Superman Red Sun disc. But I can't remember who that one was about, and I haven't watched it yet. And I haven't watched the Spectre one yet either, but everybody said it was good. So, yeah.
Cool.
Phantom Stranger. Thanks, Blue Dragon.
Oh, yeah. It's so nice that they're right here. They can answer our questions.
Oh, I know. I don't have to know anything. You know, it's like having it's like having somebody shout Wikipedia at you. Like, you don't even have to look it up. You just
no. I mean, look it up, or Brandon will come busting through your door, screaming at you.
Kick in the door.
Okay, so TH1 says, I'm enjoying the SSSS. That's the Secret Superhero Screen Society, for those not in the know. Time. And the SSSS Plus, which is something that Dan is involved in. I'll let him plug that in a second. What is your guys' favorite thing that you've done for the channel? You guys are awesome. Stay safe. So TH1 must be in the Facebook group, obviously. He's referencing that and the Discord.
Yeah, Dan just started a Discord for us. Discard. We're playing a card game. He's discarding things. Tell us about the Discord, Dan.
Oh, no.
So the Discord is a chatting thing that I set up in the superhero secret society. I don't remember what the fourth S is at the moment. But anyway, I set that up because in this strange time, I wanted to kind of promote some social connection. I know people are going through tough times. There are people in my life I know that have lost their jobs, been laid off. They're in dire straits financially. They don't know how they're going to pay their bills. So I wanted to kind of like get everyone together in the spirit of community and gaming. So far, what we've done is we've started this Discord that's available to all the people that are patrons, member of the Facebook group that we have, and we go in there and just sometimes on random nights we have chats. Like on Wednesday night, I was up till 11 o'clock chatting with Brian Uhl and Thomas Edgehill. Mark Gonzalez was in there for a little while, so. And then there was another night where we had a bunch of people in there as well. And we've already set up our first gaming night where we're going to all link up online. We're going to play some Super Smash Brothers, some Battlefront 2 on Xbox. And I'm sure other people will set up other games as well. We'll have a general chat where we can all, talk about geeky stuff. So the response has been great so far. The instant chat has been really active, so yeah, if you guys are interested in that, give it a try. I think you'll enjoy it.
I'm guessing Cap just read Carl Maxey's.
Carl Maxey wrote the S stands for hope.
Oh, that's funny.
It's so good. It stands for screen. It's the secret superhero screen society. That's
I did join the Discord, Dan. I haven't got a chance to hop in to say anything in there yet, but I hopped in and read a little bit this morning.
I've been chatting with people in there today. It's a lot of fun. Dan, it's so cool of you to set that up. It's an extra special fun thing to do. It's another added like really great reason to join Patreon. Quick plug for that. That's how you get in there. It's just $2 a month. The Secret Society is great, but the Discord is also really fun because you get to chat with people back and forth any time of day and about anything, and there's actual audio chat, and then maybe some gameplay is definitely going to happen. Dan, I'm gonna try to be there for at least an hour or two on Saturday if I can, and you mentioned Smash Brothers. I'm also hoping we can maybe do a little bit of Mario Kart, mostly because I have a chance at winning one of those. It could happen.
Yeah, we got the most votes for Smash as our Switch game, but I know Thomas Edgehill at the very least has Mario Kart, so I'd be willing to hop on that and play with you guys too.
Cool. Yeah, I'm really annoyed. Well. I'm so annoyed that I got a Wii U because I just bought those games and I don't want to buy them again.
Because you got a Switch, but you don't have those games.
Yeah, I don't have those games yet, and they're like $60, and I'm like, I don't know. Maybe I will. Maybe I will.
Had to do. Well, Dan will tell you. I complained. Dan will tell you when the Switch started porting all that Wii U stuff, and at the same price point, I complained really hard because I also had just bought some of that stuff.
Yeah, but my brother has Super Smash Bros. So if I can get down south and get the game from him, he's about an hour south from me. Then maybe I could play with you guys. Look at this. We got a $15
Hey Dan, who's your go-to in Smash Brothers?
Link. I've been playing him since the N64 one.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
Mine is Pac-Man.
Oh,
nice.
Weird.
Oh wow. Sorry, that just caught me off guard. That's not what I was expecting.
Weird. God, you can't win with him. No wonder you suck. I love playing as Pac-Man.
Never play that because I don't have it. That's not a game you play like by yourself, or at least I don't. So I never end up playing it. Anyway, $15 super chat from Joe Crouch.
Wow, thank you.
Thanks, man. He says, have you read Transformers Vs Terminator #1 and heard S.H. Figuart's Batman '89 figure?
I
guess have you heard of that?
I think I saw a picture of that, if I'm thinking of the same one that you are with that '89 figure. Send me a picture if you could on the Facebook. I'm trying to think of another good place, or you can just send me an email. My email's in the whatever you call it, the creator section on YouTube. But anyway, first part of that, no, I've not read that yet. I knew that was going to come out. I didn't know it had come out already. But I am curious about it. I'm sorry I don't have anything interesting to say since you gave us such a great super chat. But I do want to read that. I will probably wait till it's all complete. But
cool. Noah O, $2 super chat. They're alive, like me.
They're like me.
Like me.
It's funny every time.
Did you see that movie, Dan?
What is this from again?
Jurassic House.
Oh yes. This is the clone girl that releases the dinosaurs onto the Earth and dooms us all.
Because they're alive. Like me.
That's the point in the movie that my wife and I just started bursting out laughing, but no one else in the theater was laughing. They were all taking it serious, and I was like, "What is happening right now?" I was so confused.
I put that clip in the video, I think 10 times.
That's why he's probably referencing it then.
Yeah, because if you watch my rewind, he just saw it 10 times in 45 minutes. Yeah. I had so much fun.
Here we go. We still have like 6 or 7 super chats. Brian Ool. So have either Cap and DJ seen any episodes of The Sopranos? And then he says, Dan, I talked about the show a little bit last night, so I figured I'd ask. Dan and I. So he and Dan talked about it.
I have never seen an episode of The Sopranos.
No.
That's a show I've always meant to look at, but
The Sopranos is one of the best character studies I've ever seen. It's amazing.
Wow.
It's so good.
Like Breaking Bad type stuff.
Yes, it's amazing.
I always get The Sopranos mixed up with Sons of Anarchy for some reason in my head, because I've never seen either of them.
Well, they're both kind of about organized crime, but like The Sopranos is more like, New Jersey mafia Italian people, and the Sons of Anarchy is Ron Perlman on a motorcycle.
Which sounds more entertaining, honestly. But no, that sounds cool, man. I haven't seen any of it either, but I've heard a lot about it. It's like one of those shows like The Wire that you always hear about. They're like, you just have to watch it. Even if you're not into whatever it's about, you just have to watch it. Same thing with Breaking Bad, so.
If you like mob stuff at all, it's one of the best things. Like, it's up there with like Goodfellas and The Godfather. It's amazing.
Yeah, I'll have to finally sit down and do that. What was the rest of that question?
He just mentioned that he and Dan had talked about it last night. So
okay, cool. Yeah.
Plug in the SSSS Plus again.
Is that what we're calling it?
I don't know. That's what the commenter dubbed it, and we usually just go with what the commenters say. So
I like it. I was gonna say.
I thought Dan was gonna go. No, that's no. And DJ's like, and I don't want to be Pestilence anymore. So. By the way, let me also use this, since we're plugging stuff anyway. Let me take this moment to mention we are going to do an After Dark after this. Somebody asked earlier if that was happening tonight, and it is. I forgot to put it on the screen there, but I don't know what that was, but it is happening. And Brandon's going to be here for that. He just could not bring himself to spend a whole 2 or 3 hours with us, but he'll come for just after dark.
He can only take just enough insults from us before he has to go home, so he saved it for the second hour.
So we're gonna but he's coming to the show where I don't have to wait every 3 minutes. I can make fun of him the entire time if I want to. So we were dubbed last week when the 4 of us were here the 4 Horsemen of the Apocalypse, and even though Brandon's last name is Grimm, it's just right there. He didn't get death, he got famine, and DJ is death, DJ is pestilence, and Dan is death, which is not fair because we all want death, clearly. And I am war, what am I good for? Absolutely nothing. And
pestilence songs.
Yeah,
I can't roll through jukebox and play pestilence tunes.
So, unfortunately, Cam Logan Show, you're only getting 3 out of the 4 of us. You have to be a patron. You got to pay $2 a month to get later this evening all 4 of us. But Dan, right now, we've still got 3 out of 4 of the 4 Horsemen of the Apocalypse, and that ain't bad.
This is true. When we all get into the After Dark show, the economy will just collapse.
Carl Maxey named us all. Yeah, Carl, for some reason we're going with what you said, even though it makes more sense for Brandon to be death. But Brandon all day long was like, really, are we going with what that guy said? I'm like, yeah, we are. And he's not happy about it. He cares about small things, apparently.
Okay. So we have 9 super chats left, so I'm gonna get rolling on this. You guys are great tonight. You're
Dan, I love that face. That was the best. He was like, agreed.
5590ERS gives us another super chat. Says, Cap and Dan, have you guys read James Robinson's run on Starman? If you have, what are your thoughts on it?
No, but I have the really expensive hardcovers in my flea market booth, believe it or not. Eric had those and sold them to me, and those are like, especially the 3rd to 5th volume, those are like really hard to get. They're like $100 to $150 everywhere when you actually run into them. But no, I've never read those. I don't actually know anything about the actual books.
I have also not read them. Sorry.
Thanks for the super chat.
It is a thing I'm curious about, but I've just not gotten to it.
Cool. Bella Ack gives us a super chat. Fellas, am I a misogynistic pig for finding the American Pie films funny and really enjoying them? And DJ, how come you really don't eat mashed potatoes?
I don't know, because I've never seen those. So I couldn't tell you.
Know. I didn't think they were misogynistic. I thought they were just like teen comedy, like.
They're just like dumb teen sex comedy movies.
Okay.
Also, does liking a thing with misogynistic characters, if the thing is not like endorsing everyone should be misogynist, does that make you misogynist? No, it doesn't.
Because isn't it like
Twitter
a
says so? So I agree with Twitter.
Okay. Sorry. Where's that pesky eject button?
Why? I don't recall saying I don't eat mashed potatoes. Like I don't have anything against mashed potatoes, but I don't usually eat things that are just like butter and
potato. Because you could not put
like
butter in it. There's other
so
ways to eat mashed potatoes. Just season them a little bit. You don't have to have butter.
I grew up in an Irish family, so mashed potatoes are like a thing for us. Like, you gotta have real mashed potatoes. Like, you're not just on that, baked potato that you take out of it and then you just put it on a plate and put butter on it. That's not mashed potatoes. That's fake news.
Blue Dragon 5 says, Cap's never seen mashed potatoes? No, I was talking about the American Pie movies. I've never seen those.
People are mad at me, angry at me for not eating mashed potatoes. This is a malicious rumor that's been started. I mean, I don't eat them, but I don't have anything against them, and I love people who eat mashed potatoes. I have several friends who eat mashed potatoes. And
some of my best friends are mashed potato eaters. I love the idea that you might eventually have to make a public apology about this. You're gonna have to
do it on the Geekvolution Facebook page.
He's gonna have to go on the mashed potato apology tour. Look, I'm sorry. I'll eat mashed potato. Where you're like on camera for the next 3 weeks, you just see him eating like force him down. He's like, it's great. Just force him down mashed potato.
Preferred form of potato. If I was gonna eat a tuber, I would like the the red potatoes. The red potatoes that you put little spices on them. You just cut them up into like. Those are good. Just get those on the side of, some grilled chicken.
My wife is all about potatoes. We have a lot of different kinds of potatoes at my house all the time. She just started making breakfast potatoes, which are just absolutely delicious. And sometimes we have American fried potatoes. Those are really good. So yeah, we are kind of a potato family.
Cool.
I almost said famine. DJ's potato famine. He is a famine all on his own.
The Irish potato famine. That's Dan. You should have got famine. One and Only Productions asks us if you could have one movie re-released in IMAX, what would it be? Oh, fantastic question.
I thought you were going to say Fantastic Four. I was like, what?
Fan Force Stick in IMAX. 1 hour only. They don't even show the entire film.
It's just a giant IMAX of Sue Storm's head with her nose bleeding.
That's just all you get, on repeat.
One thing that we always do in Fantastic Four movies. That's the common denominator is Sue Storm's nose bleeding.
Now I just want to name superhero movies that would be insane to say, like Justice League. Yeah, I want to see that mustache again in IMAX.
Do you guys have an answer to this?
Ghost Rider 2.
I mean, I can think of so many things.
IMAX. Things wouldn't look good in IMAX. Like
the first thing that came to mind is Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. Like, I would love to have the theater experience for that again, and to see. I may have seen that in IMAX in the first place.
That might fantastic.
That might not even be my answer, but it's the first thing that comes to mind. There's a bunch of things I can say, obviously. I mean, like, favorite movies that, still look really good and hold up great, huge. Like, I'd love to see Back to the Future in IMAX. I'd love to see The Matrix in IMAX. I did get to see The Matrix in the theater last year, which was great, but not IMAX. What about you guys?
I mean, like, the obvious one is the Star Wars trilogy, but I'd like to say something more interesting.
If you could only pick one movie. Yeah, but what does he say? Yeah, he says one movie. If you could pick one movie.
You know what?
Because
It would, for me, it
maybe
would, and this is
I'd
obvious.
Go back to Formula.
It would have to be Begins. It would have to be Begins for me because I got to see Batman Begins in IMAX when it first came out, and that was like a big special thing for me. So I guess that is my answer.
Nice.
I don't know, man.
I'm gonna go back to Formula and choose Spider-Man 1.
To Formula.
Oh, but there's a couple of effects that would make you cringe now that didn't back then. It's the thing.
But delightfully so.
Yeah, Green Goblin jumping onto his glider, straight out of a PS2 game.
A little rough.
What is it? It's at the.
It's at the Unity Day Festival.
That is some rough green screen, man.
It's like, but it's not even that it doesn't fit into the background that much. It's like his movement is not realistic like a human. He's like, ugh!
No,
it's like squats on
no,
it.
it's
really
both. That's part of what makes him look like he's not actually there, is the way he's moving.
And the skeletons, the explosion.
Love it.
Watched the movie forever.
Everything associated with Dafoe in that movie, I love unconditionally.
How many more super chats do we have? Because we're already at 55 minutes, you guys.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll just say something. I might say like something spectacle, like Jungle Book or something, or one of the Lord of the Rings films or something,
Nice.
probably. Or yeah, something that would look awesome on IMAX.
cool.
Bag Studios, give us another super chat. May I say IMAX? Wait, okay, this has never happened. This super chat is like has a bone to pick with the last super chat. He says, Bag Studios, may I say IMAX is nothing compared to Dolby Cinema. Anyone had Dolby Cinema?
I think Dolby is overrated. That's just me. I like it fine. It's not worth the extra price point. Now, I know you guys are going to say Cry Me a River, First World Problems, because you guys are apparently already paying $15 a ticket. But here, tickets are, in the same normal Midwestern world, the tickets at the AMC are like 10 to 11 bucks, and Dolby goes up to 15 or 16, and it's just not worth the extra $5 to me. Like, they make a really big deal out of, it's so loud, it shakes your chair. And I'm like, okay, like, it's a large screen. It's, I guess, bigger than IMAX, but I don't know if I just don't notice the difference with things like this. I like seeing things in Dolby, but it's not enough of a difference to me to care that much to see that over IMAX.
I just always go with the cheapest option because I can't afford those things, so I don't know what Dolby
I don't
Cinema
actually
is.
think I've ever seen a movie in IMAX, so I don't even know.
Well, when tickets are $25, yeah, like...
The only movie I paid a lot of money for was, I remember when I was in high school when the first Thor movie came out, no one wanted to go to see it with me on the first day, so I was like, I'm going to go see it by myself. And the only showing that they had when I skipped school that day to go see it was like a 3D IMAX, like the most something of that nature. I don't know what it was, but I had to wear glasses. I was like, oh, this is terrible.
Well, I especially hate it because the glasses don't do anything for me except make it not blurry because I can't see in 3D. So it's like I have had to just out of desperation when it was the only option. Like a couple times I've been to the theater where my showing got canceled for some reason, and I would have to either wait for another day or a few hours or go to 3D, and I'd have like other people with me, and I'm like, okay, fine, I'll bite the bullet. So I'm paying extra money, Dan, to watch a movie with 30% less illumination. Like, that's what I'm paying for, is just to have it darker. Because, I don't know if you know that, but 3D movies, they're always darker. Like they can't do that effect without having to dim the screen. So, I can't see in 3D, but if I don't wear the glasses, it's blurry. So I'm paying like $5 or $6 more just for 70% illumination. It's really stupid.
Just to wear glasses on top of your glasses.
And I have to do that, too, yeah. That's part of why they make them so big, so you can do that.
Yeah. Man, we have so many. Game Station 3, $5 super chat. I wrote some important comments in the New Fallen Kingdom video for you to see.
I did see those, yeah. So he's got bones to pick with me. He doesn't agree with certain things I said. He raises some good points. There are some things that I don't agree with. There are some things that I'm noodling that he's got good points on. But thanks for those comments. Yeah, I think he takes that movie more seriously than I do. Because, I mean, obviously I don't take that movie very seriously at all. But he has another super chat later where he complains that I don't understand that film. I think I get what that movie thinks it's doing. I just don't think it's effective. That's all.
Well, he retracted that, so I wasn't going to read that.
I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry if you don't want me to read that. I saw it earlier, and yeah.
It's okay.
Well, if you retracted it because you thought I would be upset about it, don't worry about it. You guys are welcome to say anything you want to. I mean,
No,
it'd be nice if you didn't swear at me. That'd be cool. But other than that, but yeah, no, like obviously you're entitled to your opinion. But and he's got a couple of things I didn't think about. But I will mention particularly the thing you said about the licensing contingency. I just have to go back to Lost World and see if that's even brought up again, because it's mentioned like real quick, blink and you miss it in the first Jurassic Park. And you guys will have to watch my review to know what I'm talking about if you don't know what the licensing contingency is. But in Lost World, yeah, they're on another island and they're alive, but that doesn't necessarily mean that we beat the licensing thing, that like we've contradicted that completely, or where like that just didn't work. It might be just they forgot about that because it was such a blink and you miss it plot point. And my big question is still, but are there lysine-rich food on the main island? Because if you can be sure that that's what they're doing with the lysine contingency on Isla Sorna, it might just be that, well, there's lysine-laden food there, but there wasn't on the main island, and so if any dinosaurs there would die. So I still wanted it brought up, and I still don't know why they didn't try something else if they didn't do the lysine contingency. Like, we're gonna just make dinosaurs, and if they escape the island and run amok, like that's cool. Like you need something to make sure that if they leave, they're not gonna make it. Like, it makes a lot of sense to have a contingency like that. So I don't know.
Somebody, I don't know if you saw it in the Secret Society on the Facebook group. Somebody, Thomas Edgell, mentioned that they do address that in Lost World. It's like the herbivores are eating lots of lysine heavy foods like lima beans, and then the carnivores are eating them. So, and I got lima beans on the mainland, so I guess that makes sense.
Okay. Yeah. I just wasn't sure. I just wasn't sure if it was on Isla Nublar is the thing. So he just left another super chat and said that it was mentioned in the second movie. Well, did he just retract that too? No, I'm not seeing it. But anyway, he mentioned that.
TH1 said it was.
Was it TH1 that said it? Yeah. That Lost World. It's brought up in. But, so again, I just need to go back and look at that again. But even if it is, I just need to know if we have any of that on Isla Nublar. That's kind of my big question. But anyway, but the thing you said about Claire, I mean, like, you have a good point. You might be right about that. I just thought it was going too far. Like, I just thought it was so extreme, the complete other direction. And my issue was more with Owen. Like, you know, at least he turns around pretty quick and is like, yeah, I raised Blue. I should probably go save her. But, like, he's just off building the house and is kind of fine with all the dinosaurs dying. And I don't know. Just personally, I don't buy it. Like, I just don't buy it.
Yeah.
I still say they kind of switch personalities, which is hilarious. But anyway, sorry, DJ, go ahead.
Game Station 3 says, what? He's just telling us, watch Shinobi 03's videos on Fallen Kingdom. Okay. So he's apparently another reviewer who may have a different opinion than you, probably.
Sure.
John Ty, what are some wholesome comments you've gotten online? Well, you don't really remember the wholesome ones. You usually remember the
it's the shut the F up comments that you remember. That's my favorite comment of all time, Dan. The first couple months I was doing Rewind, it's a video where I'm just talking for 15 straight minutes and somebody leaves a comment and says shut the F up, and I think it's so funny.
Yeah, you still remember that 10 years later?
Oh yeah, I've never forgotten it. It cracks me up. But anyway, no, there's like, I wish I could remember some of the best ones, of course. But I mean, the comments that I appreciate the most that just, you know, kind of won my heart and made me like really happy with what we're doing is and I've talked about this before, but I've had a few people over the years say that, like, I kind of helped get them through English classes or through college or something, helping them to have a better sense of narrative and writing and how to structure papers and things. Like, I've had a couple people say that they kind of based how they wrote papers in college on the structure of Rewind, and it immediately improved their grades, which just makes me happy to hear that. It's really cool. But yeah, I mean, you know, people say nice things. People say more nice things than not nice things, which is, you know, puts you ahead of the curve the curb on YouTube.
I think the comments that stick out to me are like when I used to review comics, like I used to review single issues sometimes arcs, and I would get comments sometimes from the creators of those books and said that they really liked my reviews. So that was always like something that I really, really thought was cool. And I also got comments from Dan Slott on some of my videos saying that he hated me because I didn't like his Spider-Man run. So
What?
Which is also kind of fun, yeah. I've always envied you for that, because there's a part of me that always wanted to know what Todd McFarlane would think of Spawn here, but there's another part of me that's glad that he probably never looked at that, so yeah.
I'm just picturing him saying, "Hey, Dan, this is Dan. I hate you." Just leave.
He didn't say that exactly, but it was like heavily implied, you know?
All right, speaking of Dan's, the next one is for Dan, from John Ty. He says, would Doom Guy from the Doom games be the best exorcist?
Considering I have played exactly one Doom game, which is the reboot that Bethesda put out a few years ago, and Doom Guy says absolutely nothing in that game, sure, yes. I don't really know much about his character. He's just a guy.
Yeah.
When your name is Doom Guy,
Doom Guy,
you're not gonna have the most sophisticated character. I'm thinking, like,
you don't have that many options for a career. You're either an exorcist or an executioner.
Yeah, I mean, he does kill demons, so I guess, like, I mean, he shoots them with guns. I don't know, like, if that would be effective. Like, oh, my daughter's possessed. Like, let's shoot her in the face. You know, like, I don't think that would be a good idea.
Well, that would certainly get the demon out of the house.
That's hilarious. Yeah, would it, or would it just go to somebody else? I don't know. DJ, to your point, like, yeah, Doom Guy is not going to do weddings, right? Like,
he's not. He doesn't DJ weddings.
How many more super chats do we have? We've got to wrap the show up.
We got a $2 super chat from Game Station 3, but he retracted it, so I'm going to respect his wishes and not read it. But thanks for the $2.
My fault.
I have a question about that. Do they get their money back when they retract super chats?
I don't know. It
so.
Still says $2, but it's just the instead of the words it says retracted. So I don't know.
Oh, interesting. Well, I hope you get your money back.
Cap will personally send a $2 bill to your house. Just post your address in the comments. Don't do that. Seriously.
Don't do
Joseph Port 1996 asks, Cap,
hi,
favorite Buffy and Angel episodes?
Oh man, somebody asked me this a couple weeks ago, but I'll try it again. Yeah, Angel, everybody loves the puppet episode. Obviously, that's one of my favorites too, Smile Time. I think my absolute favorite Buffy episode, or at least the one I go back to the most often, is the Faith two-parter from season 1. I just think it's spectacular. Really good character piece for her. And then in Buffy, I again, like most people, love Once More with Feeling, the musical episode. I love The Gentleman. Everybody likes The Gentleman. A lot of those Faith episodes, I like Faith a lot. A lot of those Faith episodes in season 3, I like a whole lot. So yeah, there's a few. Oh, and I also really like the episode where they get the hotel in Angel. I went back and watched that again the other day, and yeah, it's great.
We got two more.
Okay, cool.
One from John Ty.
Yeah.
This is in reference to what we were talking to earlier. He says, has the 3D in movies died down? I think so. It's definitely not the big flood in the market after Avatar came out, where everyone was just trying to profit off of that.
I agree. You don't see the advertising for it like you used to, where we don't try to sell an entire movie on 3D. Like, if you don't see this in 3D, you didn't see this movie. Like, I haven't seen that in a long time, but it's still an option.
Yeah, it's like an option. It's weird. It's like, well, you can watch it that way or not. I don't know. It's still weird that we have it if they're not going to advertise it.
I don't hear people talk about it anymore. In fact, I don't know anybody that still goes to 3D. Like, I knew people that really jumped on that bandwagon back then, and it's like because it's not being sold to them anymore, they don't feel the need to go. Or they do and they don't talk about it.
The only movie I've ever seen in 3D was the first Avengers, and I didn't like it. I mean, I liked the movie, but I didn't like 3D. It didn't really add anything. Because it wasn't shot in 3D. I mean, it's going to be big when Avatar 2 comes out, whenever that's supposed to come out, if the world doesn't end. T-Edge1 gives us one more super chat.
Yeah, and I'm just not going to see that movie because it's not for me. Apparently, if you can't see things in 3D, you just haven't experienced that movie, and so it's just like I'm left out completely. I don't like that movie. I have complained about it. I've had a lot of people say, well, Cap, you can't see in 3D, so you haven't really experienced it, so you don't get to talk about it. And I feel like I feel a little left out. I feel like being persecuted. I feel persecuted. I feel like a mutant at that point.
And then the last super chat was just from TH1, saying that Lysine was addressed in Lost World. Stay Jurassic.
Yeah, I mentioned that.
So yeah.
All right, cool.
Bam.
We did a show.
we did a show. It's up to you to determine the quality of said show, but we did the show. Well, everybody, thanks so much for watching. Hope you had a good time. We certainly did. If you want to stick around and chat with us even more about all kinds of other random things, we're going to hang out for a little bit on Geekvolution After Dark here in about 15 minutes or so. We got to wait for Brandon to get here, and then we'll jump on and do that show. Tonight, I have no plan at all for that show. It's going to be completely random and whatever we feel like talking about. It's going to be real loose. And I'm excited about it. I'm sure it's going to be a good time. So pop on in and help us determine the course of the conversation, will ya? We're going to talk about anything and everything. And it's After Dark, so it could be really, really anything. That caveat I said earlier, within reason, does not apply as much on After Dark. So pop in and chat with us. Hang out, won't you? Patreon.com/Geekvolution if you're not currently a patron and you want to check that out and see what it's all about. And we'll show you what it's about. It's a thing. Anyway, we'll see you soon. Dan, any famous last words?
No, I have no famous last words for you this time.
Oh. Would you make some up for later? Because I'm depressed now.
Yes, I will work my magic by the time we get to After Dark.
Bye, DJ.
See ya.
This was Dan Torrey. This was DJ Martinez. And I am Captain Logan saying good night. Good night.
Bye, everybody.